Put the Wookiee in the cargo hold.
Yes, it's so long. What we going to talk about?
You see, the times I've had to sit next to the Wookiee, I can't tell you. Each one of them are awful. Anyway, Chewie.
Hello, mate.
Good. We've also, over the years with the filming, we've become great mates as well. Even the Wookiees tried to attack Boba Fett several times, but you're back on form.
Yeah. And the reason for a wheelchair is because I'm going to have, in the next month or 2 months, both knees replaced. Therefore, give it 2 months, 3 months, the Wookiee will be back. So, no, it's nice to have information like that.
Yeah, oh no, information, but when you said you'll be back, that's exciting news, but for me...
Hopefully be back. I'll be back to conventions and stuff like this, so... anybody got any questions, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a question. Hi guys. Obviously it's the 30th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. I was wondering if you could maybe talk about what was kind of unique about working on that film specifically compared to the other Star Wars movies. What was the kind of the vibe and set? And also, do you think it's fair? Do you think it's unfair that it's seen as the weakest of the 3 original movies?
Yeah, but who says it's the weakest? It all depends on your opinion of, obviously most people's favourite movie is Empire, right?
Yeah.
Jedi have to finish up somewhere, and everybody loves teddy bears. I can call it, and it was the way that good would triumph over evil. The little guy gets, if there's enough of them, little guys always kind of win. The Imperials, well, they just try to chase him out of forest. It was one of those, you have to end it somehow. Consequently, that was the easiest way to do it. They wanted to use Wookiees, but they couldn't find enough Wookiees big enough to follow, to be around. So George said, right, teddy bears.
It's funny because Return of the Jedi, the end of that, I always remember that all the dancing evil, all dancing, shaking hands. No shaking hands and gradually, this is my dream, but there it is, and then the camera starts to swing around, going into the bushes, and then you see the glint of Boba Fett's helmet. So it isn't over. That would have been a great ending to Return of the Jedi, but no one took me up on it.
Well, you want the good news or the bad news?
Yes.
I haven't heard anything, so I can't tell. But
well, I've been written. Sorry, I haven't.
You haven't.
No one actually. It's funny. A lot of people think they know what's happening, what's going to happen, but they don't. They don't know.
No. There's
lots of unbelieving faces.
But I'm, talking to Jedi, I think the original ending was far, far better than the ending that it goes all the way around the world. The simple ending, which was celebration on the planets and stuff like this, made it nicer. It still had an appeal to a lot of people, and yet, maybe it's one of those things that small is beautiful, and the mere fact that it's celebrating, all right, the Empire is gone, or so they think, but you can never tell. But, for me, Jedi, the ending of Jedi was the original one.
Yeah. How many people here preferred Empire Strikes Back to any of the in the first three? Return of the Jedi?
No.
New Hope?
There's one here.
So there's a sort of Empire Strikes Back and New Hope are the two most popular?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, but look at the age group.
Peter?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to know, originally it was intended that in Return of the Jedi, Han Solo would die. Are you aware of that?
I haven't heard that. I don't know.
Even Harrison
No.
Ford, he
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But why kill one of one of the heroes? You know, I don't understand it because he was one. You know, he's the hero. All right, it's Mark's story, fair enough, right? But I can't see why you're going to kill someone that is opposition and makes an interest, and therefore you go one, unless George would say, okay, we don't need him anymore, but I've never heard that George said this, so I don't know where you get your feed from. This is Dan Fresh people. No, the worst one was when Chewie got killed.
Well, I was quite happy with that. I mean, that's...
Well, that was 1-0. Anybody else? Yes.
Peter, what would you say is the biggest change in your life that happened because of Star Wars? Would it be moving to America? Would it be not being a hospital reporter anymore?
Life in general. Life that has given you the opportunity to do things that you dream of. You know, as a relatively young to middle-aged actor, or non-actor, as in my case, it's given you something to travel the world, meet a lot of people, and do some things that you never wish, or you wish you could do them, but never having the opportunity to do it. You know, I know Jeremy will confirm this, that we have travelled so far, it's unbelievable. I've got a million miles now on a certain airline, and that takes a lot of doing. It takes a lot of airplane rides and stuff, even first class. But most of my stuff was in the back end, with the knees in the overhead bins. But no, it's given you a total wonderful feeling that you can do things. You meet people, you go places where you haven't been before. You do conventions, you're introduced to people, and one thing leads to another, and therefore you go, I didn't know I could do this until you do it. You will confirm that the opportunities have been there, and everybody, all those people that are connected with it, have been extremely lucky. I always remember Jeremy telling me a story about one of his mates, and he hadn't seen him for 6 months. And he said, hello, what are you doing? Oh, I'm this Star Wars movie. You're lucky. At the time, all the actors wanted to get on to that set.
Yeah, that's a true story, but at the moment, you're getting people, I know, they'll phone you up and say, I don't want to be paid, can you get me onto the new movies? I'll take you out for a meal. All this, honestly, all the time. The bell goes and they ring and say, oh, hello. I haven't spoken to you for, God, do you remember me, Mark? Mark got up, yeah. No, I haven't spoken to you for a long, long time. I said, how's the family? And all this chitter-chat going on. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
You just know. He said, oh, see, they're doing new films then. Oh, they're doing some new films. Any chance of, only if you're, I mean, you may be talking to George, and he just waffled on like this, and finally, I said, there's nothing I can do. Oh, surely you're in it. I said, I'm not. You know, I haven't told you anything. Yeah, come on, you give it all away. And I won't say nothing. I don't want to be paid. And this went on, renting.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening in a weekly basis. People are asking to be in the films.
Yeah.
So if you would like to be in the films, man, I've
got his address in mind. No, but anybody else?
Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
What is it about Boba Fett? Out of all the characters, a very intense fandom has emerged around that character, especially how long he's on screen for. Have you ever kind of analysed why that is? Or?
Well, I think a lot of fans think he's hard done by. A lot of things. Han Solo and Boba Fett are very similar. I think they flew the Millennium Falcon before he met Chewie, and I'm sure there's a sort of bond there, and then it went funny. But also they see him as romantic character. Have you seen the letters I get from young ladies?
I saw some letters, but we won't go into that. It's so different.
No, but he's an anti-hero. But, it's very funny. One of my sons, who's well grown up, has got his own family, he was saying, oh, for goodness sake, you're not going to go on about Boba Fett. And I said, now listen, I'm an icon. And if you so you have this sort of digging it up. But
so you're hanging from the mantel shelf.
I think Peter says we're extremely fortunate to be travelling the world. If you can, I'm not going away for a while now, but you're absolutely right. But by the way, I have 500 miles on my.
Well, that time you started travelling.
Yeah, that's true. We will.
Oh.
Thanks.
Peter, a couple of years ago there was a screenplay called Chewie that was written and it ended up on the blacklist. What was your involvement in that and what did you think of it, or did they send it to you?
No clue. I know nothing about it. I've seen the script. But there is no comment. As far as I know, it was into finance. They were trying to get financing for it. That's it. As far as my involvement, I've seen the script, I've looked at it, and they're going to come back. They're going to have to come back with substantial amounts of money to make it possible. Because all right, Chewie sounds fine, but it all depends on who's written the script, what the script involves, and all the technical stuff like that. I haven't heard anything. There's about 3 or 4 others. If you do your research, there's 3 or 4 other fan movies, as I call them, that are around waiting for finance. And we all know what finance is. It's very scarce at the moment in the film industry and in any industry.
Well, can't you use your air miles to help out?
That will buy you about a title. That will buy you a title, even Mayhew. As far as I'm concerned, if they come to us, we'll reconsider and carry on. It's not an essential part of life at the moment, but it would be nice to be able to do it and have control. Okay.
I have a question to both of you. Honestly, how many times did you watch the original trilogy?
Probably 10 times, I think. Probably over the weeks. Grandchildren, when they first came in, they said, they loved it. Some of the older ones.
So once a year?
Harry Potter. Yeah, when the kids come over, the grandchildren, they say, can we watch in Blu-ray But actually, the Blu-ray does make a difference, I must say. It's good. So
But
they want to come and see it.
Yeah. But, you know, we watch it, you know, sometimes because you're doing, I do far more conventions than you do. Therefore, you have to be up to details. So, you know, I'm not talking about front details of characters. I'm talking about little, for example, in the pod race, little bits floating off the pod racers. Oh, what was that? You know, how do you think, you know, what? I don't know. It could be dynamo, it could be anything. And as I say, you have to watch them every now and then just to get your brain wrapped around the story of how it happened, because you're answering, you know, most of the conventions that we do have a Q&A involved in them. And some of the Q&A questions are a little bit
you're absolutely right. It's terribly difficult. You think, I don't know this, so I always look up. When someone asks a question, I just say, I'm sorry, that's classified information. I'm not allowed to tell. Anyone else? So that gets you out of the hole.
Yeah.
We've got time for just 2 more minutes.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Oliver from German newspaper Bild, and I'd like to know what do you think or feel if you face those guys on these celebrities or conventions who look exactly like your role character? Isn't that scary? Kind of.
I think I have admiration for most of our guys, because you look at them and they have taken a lot of time and trouble going to the certain authorities that are the controllers of, you know, basically we're talking about the stormtroopers and all the other characters, right?
Yeah.
All the licensed characters. So they've gone through to Lucasfilm as was, and they are, you know, they are officially, not officially approved, but the armor and the costumes are usually up to standard. The ones I feel sorry for are anybody that attempts to do a Chewie costume. All that hair, it's all got to be combed and it's all got to be sewn in. That is a work of a labor of love, basically. Because the good ones are good, the bad ones are not. And you can tell, looking at them, how many hours and days and months they have spent in preparation for one convention. So, you know, the fans, you know, it's one of those things that the fans enjoy doing, because, you know, and you talk to them and they say, oh, well, it took me so-and-so to do this, so-and-so to do that. Even more so for the R2D2 builders. They can take 5 years and about £2,000.
Well, George Lucas has created this genius amongst a lot of people who were a bit bored of weekend or everything, and they start knocking bits together. Yeah, well, that's not so bad. And then within 6 months, they've got a costume, and then they really go into it. And then they get asked, could you do me one?
Yeah.
So they all join in. The German garrison here are terrific. They're fantastic costumes. I just wish the costume I had was as light as the ones. They had the guns are light. They gave you a proper gun that went, oh. People used to say, I love the way you bring your hand up and clench your fist. I said, it was so heavy I had to. So it wasn't a moody look.
No, but you know, as I said,
costumes are amazing.
Costumes and the fan groups are absolutely wonderful. And 9 times out of 10, all the, you know, the garrison and things like this are not only charity, which is a wonderful thing. You know, kids that need hospitalization or people that haven't got enough days in the week to be able to look after their kids and go to work at the same time. Money is supplied to those people to pay for help for them. So, you know, it's a really good, you know, we got involved.
Isn't it funny, please, sorry to interrupt, but that you go to the hospital and the kids are looking forward to seeing you, and there's a Boba Fett, and there's a Chewie, may not be so tall, but they're running around, and they'll listen, they can talk to Peter and myself, where are your costumes? I said, well, we've got a day off.
Yeah.
Oh, but I thought you were going like them. I said, well, no, they're imposters, they're not real.
They're not real.
So you have a bit of a laugh with them and everything, but it's incredible that kids just
wonderful.
relate to 2 or 3 different characters, or maybe just one. But it's lovely to see those little faces. Brilliant.
And you walk into a hospital, as I say, kids ward, and there's something you're registered in those brains. That means, wow, yes. And it can be a stormtrooper, it could be Vader, it could be anything. And it doesn't matter what is wrong with them. Usually they will be able to go with the flow, and if the parents have done their job properly, they've introduced the characters and stuff. So they know who the characters are without even being asked. And if they like you, their eyes will brighten. And if they don't like you, get out of the ward. No, but most kids are pretty cool because, I'm talking kids of 4 up to about 8, and some with the families that are around. They're brought up, they're brought up not quite as a religion, but it's very close. It's a belief or whatever they want, whatever you want them, whatever. There is a message in the story itself. You can go back and read it. You read the books, there's a message in there for something. Everybody has the same, not the same reading, but a similar thing. The reaction is relatively the same. Anybody else? Yes.
Yes. I would like to know, how do you feel about Disney taking care now of the Star Wars?
I knew this one was coming.
Yeah. George Lucas.
I think it's exciting that they have great writers, they have good directors, they have good everything, and it's being shot in England, which is huge help for the film industry in England. There's a tax incentive for people, there's some very talented people out there, and they kept thinking, we'll never get asked to do a big film like Star Wars again, it will never happen, but it has. So it'll be done in England, so everyone's looking forward to it. I mean, it's going back to that thing, someone lifting the phone, I hear they're doing them in London, can you give me an interview? So we're going to go through all that as well.
Yeah.
It's good.
But I think, when you've got 2 big companies, like Disney and Lucasfilm, you have probably the best combination of talent, because Disney has Pixar and there's all the other various companies that are available, and with Lucasfilm looking like they've stamped every poster on every big movie for the past 5-10 years. I am industrial medicine that way. and you get a combination of those two together. You have got a winner. It may take a little time to get into production because both companies have schedules and they ain't going to change them. So it may take 6 months or whatever, however long it takes to get them down to being able to produce a movie. So, you know, I think it's a very good thing, and it's going to be a very good thing for anybody that goes to the cinema or DVDs or any visual and audio people. Therefore, I'm only in favour of it. Whether I get affected by it or not, it's going to help everybody to have more time to watch good movies, and movies will be technically insured for a guaranteed period of time. Okay.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.